Today on this channel, once again, I want to deep dive and go through the conversation on where the heck is Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD in 2024 while booting up Wind Waker HD and sharing some of my memories for this game with you all, because these are games that have just been in the rumor mill speculation talk for far too long. They're also logically just ports that make sense to bring over because they already look visually fantastic, and we are also right now at the time of filming in a very peculiar situation for Nintendo when it comes to their software lineup, because 2024, while they have built out the first of the year with at least a release just about every month outside of April for a first party Nintendo title, we are now at a point where we don't know when the next Nintendo Direct will be, and we have zero communication around what else is in store for us throughout the rest of this year. And assuming that the reports are true that Nintendo Switch 2 or their next gen console has been internally shifted to early 2025, that begs the question, what is Nintendo planning for their holiday 2024 games lineup? Because they still want to move units of the current Switch if we don't have the next gen hardware in our hands. And does the Wind Waker and or Twilight Princess HD actually make the most sense this year in the holiday season to be those big remaster games that people might go out and buy a new console for, or at the very least pick up this said software? So we're gonna hop right over to gameplay, but before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And with that, let's experience Wind Waker together. What a beautiful freaking game that is Wind Waker HD. I mean, look at the title screen at the bottom. 2013 is when this game was actually released. We are in 2024 now, so it's high time for Nintendo to give us a chance to play this game again. I will be picking up from when I left off last time, talking with you all about this game, hopefully coming in 2023, if memory serves me correctly, because I personally have purposely not been replaying Wind Waker or Twilight Princess to completion on my Wii U, in hopes that we will one day see them ported to Switch. I would love to have the 100% save file and everything going for me on my Nintendo Switch. So I've kind of been holding off on actually re-experiencing these games for that main reason. And while you might just say it's time to play through them because they're probably not coming to Switch anytime soon, I still have the slightest glimmer of hope. Now, we kind of have to go down history and memory lane with this thing to really learn why so many people, including myself, fully believed more or less that these would be coming over at one point in time. And it stemmed back to the announcement of Skyward Sword HD with notable video game journalist Andy Robinson, who we talk about a lot on the channel because I tend to like VGC and their reporting style and their articles, and that is he is the owner, lead, head chief designer, everything of VGC. I believe he created the website himself, if I'm not mistaken. All of that said, him and Jeff Grubb over the course of time have insinuated that Nintendo's more or less sitting on finished versions of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. And Andy Robinson, not being the biggest fan of Skyward Sword HD, said, well, at least we're going to get a couple good Zelda games later on, or at least Wind Waker and Twilight Princess coming will be some good Zelda games on the Nintendo Switch, kind of insinuating that he's not a fan of Skyward Sword. At least that's how I took that post way back in the day, as I mentioned at this point in time. Well, we've been waiting since then, and the big speculation was that the 35th anniversary for Zelda would indeed be the thing to announce, or the event rather, to announce these, right? So when that did not happen, of course, people were surprised because 35th anniversary came and went, and it's almost like Nintendo, in response to fans wanting to have some kind of official celebration, just decided last minute to, well, maybe let's go ahead and give them a little Game & Watch system that they can actually go through and enjoy, because clearly that's something that, you know, we don't have anything else planned for it, essentially was the tone. So it seemed like they threw something together super last minute, and then here we are waiting this whole time, still nothing to show for these games. But I do think that there is now the situation we're in. So actually, let me back up. So then you have the rumors ramping back up around the release of Tears of the Kingdom, because the speculation then became, well, maybe Nintendo's sitting on these finished games just purely because they want to have a backup plan for Zelda fans if Tears of the Kingdom needs to get delayed. Because if it does, they like to historically release something on Nintendo Switch every year in terms of new Zelda content. So then that became the idea. Maybe these are going to be the stop holder gap games for 2022, because of course we did get that official delay that Tears of the Kingdom would be pushed from 2023 all the way to all the way from 2022 to 2023. Of course, it launched in May last year. Well, we clearly still don't have them playable at this point in time. So is all hope now lost, or is there the possibility that Nintendo is saving these for the transition period in Nintendo Switch's life cycle? Because that's where we're at now. Every single game outside of Princess Peach Showtime for 2024 is either a port or a remaster for Nintendo Switch, which really makes you stop and think, do they just double down on that strategy and give us more over the course of the holiday season? Metroid Prime 4 might be the big game that actually makes the most sense to bring out, that you would have a new original title that might draw some new fans in and sell some systems and sell some good copies of if Nintendo markets it correctly. And obviously if the game looks incredible and gets great reviews, all that stuff is possible. I don't know if I can skip this cutscene here. I think, oh no, that just switched me to the gamepad, which it's really cool to play with the gamepad too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you know, that is another realistic thing that they could have up their sleeves. They could very well have the Metroid Prime 4 or Metroid Prime 4 rather ready to go, and that's their big game. Maybe we don't have to have Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. But when they're doubling down on a lot of ports and remasters, and they still have to support their current family of systems with new content, you could make a strong case that 2024 does make the most sense for these games to potentially come over. The thing that I am, I guess, more concerned about now, while I was once in the mindset that we want Wind Waker, we want Twilight Princess, we're obviously going to get them both. They ported just about every other major Wii U game. I now don't necessarily think that they will do them together at the same time, because unless if it's tied to a anniversary celebration like we sometimes see Nintendo do for Mario or Zelda, like look at 3D Mario All-Stars. Where's my intro? I know I have something that I can shoot up through these different trees to get up to where that leaf is at. Anyway, we will find that. You know, the way that they do 3D Mario All-Star Collection being a perfect example. So they're normally not going to bring back classic Mario games like in that form and fashion and package 3 together, other than it was Mario's 35th anniversary, and that was a celebration title with a limited release. So that's kind of how we see them do things like that. Considering that Zelda really doesn't have, you know, an anniversary this year, or I guess we'll be coming up on their 40th before too long. I hope we don't have to wait until then to get any kind of combo pack. But I do think that you know, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess being sold together at a $60 price point is probably not on the table anymore. I think if we get these games, they're hopefully announced at the same time and sold at the same time at $60 a piece is what I could see Nintendo doing. But in a perfect world, I would love to see these as a combo pack. I just don't think we're going to see it anymore. And there's also the very real possibility, that is the wrong button. There's also the very real possibility that it becomes something like Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, totally announced and released separately. So we might only get Wind Waker first, then get Twilight Princess a year or two later. That's a very real Nintendo possibility and Nintendo thing to do as well. But you just look at how beautiful the visuals of this game is. Wind Waker is the one that I like to boot up, probably more than Twilight Princess recently, just to kind of show off how finished and ready to go this game is. The cel-shaded style that they created with HD visuals and new lighting and textures like they included in are begging to be on Nintendo Switch. Not to mention, we could also get an upgrade to 60 frames per second, because I believe we're only running this at 30. So nice little quality of life enhancements. Or does Nintendo just save these games for Nintendo Switch 2? So they are the ones that are left off the Wii U, but instead they do end up just you know, essentially saving them for Switch 2, and then they have 4K versions. Like, that's entirely possible too. So clearly, if you don't get the sentiment of the video, we don't know what's going on with these games, but I like to every now and then revisit the conversation around if it's still possible. And the reality is it's very much possible. And I'm also not entirely convinced that Jeff Grubb and Andy Robinson had bad info, other than they're just totally off on the timing, because Nintendo's known to sit on games. If you just look at what happened with Metroid Prime Remastered, that was in the rumor mill speculation talk for years before we finally got it announced, and it was supposedly done for the good majority of that time. So Nintendo is no stranger to being able to just go ahead and sit on a game. They're one of the only game developer companies that do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of what we're talking about here. So let me get my Wind Waker out, the name of the game, and I missed that there. And I'm so ready to replay this game from start to finish. I don't know if you guys have played Wind Waker. Let me know in the comments if you have. And I know that there's probably, I would say, a lot more fanfare. Well, maybe not significantly more, but I think noticeably enough. Oh, I probably didn't want to go straight there. I think I actually need to go that direction first and then change the wind over there. So, you know, it's one of those things that I do think that I would be curious to see the fan reaction to Wind Waker now, because obviously back in the day when everybody wanted the more mature sequel to, you know, Ocarina of Time, and then this was revealed, everybody thought Nintendo's going just super kiddie, super family friendly, this game's gonna suck. Well, meanwhile, it offers one of the best stories in any Legend of Zelda game, and I would argue some of the best dungeons and exploration. Hyrule being flooded and actually fully explorable that way is freaking incredible, and it's definitely something that I think Zelda fans that didn't get this this experience will absolutely love it once they get it. And then, okay, so we might have actually just messed ourselves up here. Oh, or unless if I can go up through that whirlwind, but I think that just kind of like kills me if I go into it. So I don't know. We'll figure this out together. We don't have to get to the dungeon right now, but now that I'm looking how low I am compared to the other platform, I probably was just supposed to go straight through that dungeon. So we'll see if this gives me any kind of boost or if it's just going to totally mess me up. And no, I didn't get it anyway. So that's okay. We're pretty much good on time here. So you guys can make fun of me in the comments for totally forgetting about not necessarily needing to go to that platform. That might be some kind of bonus or something else that I can do, but we'll just make sure that we die in the water so that way I don't have to worry. Oh, I guess it does it automatically. So that way I don't have to worry about getting all the way back there. I'm thinking there's a way to definitely get to time that right where you're going to catch that whirlwind going around to get blasted back up. But this is one of the essentially the second dungeon of the game in Wind Waker, and just, yeah, look at the visual style, look at all of the fun animations. I do think Twilight Princess still looks great as well. I just don't think it looks as great, if you will. So of course, and then we're gonna pull out the wrong freaking thing. So, you know, I don't know, me personally, I think this game would sell very well. I think there's a lot of fans that still want to see it brought over and want to play it for the first time on Nintendo Switch. And considering it just never really got that, oh, it's because I don't have any magic left, of course. So, you know, I just think that Nintendo's sitting on money on their hands that they can print whenever they want. And in a light release year like 2024, it's a big deal. And I want to answer this question real quick on whether or not you can get blasted up from this thing. And I'm like right in the middle of it. And yeah, we did. Okay, so I think we can hopefully make this if these guys don't mess us up. That way you guys can just see the intro of the temple and we'll call it after that. But let me know in the comments down below kind of how you're feeling likelihood. We dropped early. Well, that's a wrap for us. Let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about the likelihood of Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD potentially making it over, and whether or not you think it's in the cards for this year, or are we gonna just have to basically play this thing on Wii U until the end of time, and it's probably not coming to Switch. So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch the video on screen next if you haven't already. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.